Hello everyone and welcome to the series that I am now calling No Bugs, Only Features, where I chronicle my journey into the game development world. So after playing around in Unity this past week, I think it's time I actually go ahead and start working on building an actual video game, do something with some type of direction instead of just throwing sprites on a screen and seeing what they do without any vision of a game or anything like that. I feel I've learned enough to be able to do it, so without further ado, we're going to begin actually working towards some goals. So I'm not going to be making a side-scroller as my first game. I know a lot of people when they start off, that's the first thing they attempt to do is make a side-scroller, but at the moment I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'm going to start off with something a little bit simpler. So half the battle here is knowing yourself, and I know myself pretty well. If I don't have immediate success and gratification and small victories constantly happening, I will get bored, unmotivated, and decide to stop trying altogether and move on to something else, only to return in the next 4 months and realize I don't remember anything. So I've got to keep momentum moving. In order to do that, I have to look at myself realistically, look at my skill level realistically, look what I can do, what I can't do, what I need to learn, what I have learned, and put that all together and come up with something that's going to be simple enough for me to be able to produce, but challenging enough for me to be able to continue to learn. With that said, I'm going to draft some short-term and long-term goals. So I think the easiest way to go about doing this is to make a list of different game types from the least hardest to the most difficult being, future goals, and the easiest being current goals. Now, the list I have in my head falls into 3 categories. One being your simple flash game where you don't have any board type things kind of just spawn in, like Galaga, things like that. Your second type being like a 2D side-scroller or 2D RPG. I would put 2D side-scroller above 2D RPG. Side-scroller seems easier to me than an entire RPG. And then third would be your 3D RPG. So the third one would be a goal that's way down the future. The second one would be after I'm confident in everything else, and the first one would be where I'm at now. So we're going to start by trying to make a very basic Flash type of game that I'm going to call Furniture Fall. Yeah, it's dumb name, I know, but it's what I got right now. I have this idea of having a character in one frame, so I don't have to worry about moving the camera down too much, and just have objects fall from the sky at the character, and the character has to run and move and not get hit by anything and not die. It seems in my head simple to implement, but we'll see, and the reason I'm calling it Furniture Fall is the objects falling from the sky are going to be bits of furniture that'll steal off the internet and turn into pixel art because I can't draw anything. My little guy's going to just be a stick figure. So I have the basis for a game. Let's start making one. Okay, got a new project here open, and we're just gonna go over to the hierarchy. That's what it's called. That's what it says in Unity, so that's what I'm going with, the hierarchy. And we're gonna create a new scene. I've already got rid of the sample scene that pops up, and we're gonna rename this one if I can. I don't think I can. How do I rename you? Renaming it's not important. Oh, save scene as. That save scene as. Let's do that. Scenes. Sample scene. I don't care about you. Level 1. Let's just name this level 1 for now. Just so I can remember where I'm at. Okay, level 1. And we have the camera here. Cool. Now we're going to need an object. We're going to need a floor, so I think the floor is the best place to start. A ground, a place for things to sit on. To make that, we're going to go and create a new game object. Create empty game object. I'm gonna call you a ground, so I don't forget. I'm gonna add component, and the first thing I want to add is a whatchamahoo's it? Not a rigid body. Box collider. Box collider, sure. 2D box collider, because we're working with a 2D game. I found out this button here edits the collider, which makes things simple. And I'm gonna have it go just below where the camera is supposed to start. And like that. Bam. We now have a solid floor for the ground. Yeah, we hit play. It's gonna compile everything we've done, and that's what the scene looks like right now. A blank canvas of nothingness. So we're gonna stop play though, and for the ground we're also going to add rigid body to it. Can't remember why I need to do this, but something tells me I need to do it. Rigid body 2D, bam. We're gonna get rid of the gravity scale so it doesn't fall through the map. I keep making that mistake. I did figure out the problem with my guy rotating the world in the last one. There was... I forgot to lock his Z-axis, so his Z-axis was unlocked completely, which allowed him to spin freely if he hit something the wrong way. Once I locked that, all the problems went away. I didn't record that because it was one button. I was tired. I'll remember for this one, though. Okay, but now we got a floor, kind of. Can I add a material to this? Is there... I think there are random materials here, which means we need a sprite renderer. Let's go ahead and add that. Sprite renderer. I think Unity has its own materials. No? Why not? Come on, man. Material, sprite default. Oh, there we go. Skybox. What does this do? I don't think that did anything. Yeah, see, that did nothing. Oh well. So we got my ground. I guess next we're gonna need a player. Create 2D object. Sprites. Ah! That's what I needed to do for the ground. Okay. Let's do this in ground. You know what? Let's delete ground and start over. Yeah. Okay, level 1. Create 2D object sprite. We're gonna create a square. Oh look, a square. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna... Bam! He's now the ground. And we could change the color, I think, somewhere. Somewhere. Additional settings? No. Sorting layer. Draw mode simple. Ah, yeah, no, here. Yeah, so, let's make the ground freaking red. Why not? Yeah, now we have ground object. Sweet. See, I remember how to do stuff. I can do this. Square, we're gonna rename you to ground. That's how we go about doing that. Okay, now we need to add a rigid body and a box collider. Rigid body 2D. Get rid of your gravity. I think all that's good. Static. It's not going anywhere. It stays right there and doesn't do anything other than be the ground. Okay, component. Now we need to add that box collider. I think you have to add the rigid body 2D first and then the box collider afterwards, which the box collider looks pretty on point. Alright, yep. That's good. And then a little trick I learned from somebody else. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. Label it materials. I don't care if that's spelled correctly or not. If it's wrong, whatever. And then we're going to create new physics. I think 2D physics. Yeah, 2D physics material 2D. And I'm going to call it no stick. Because a tutorial I followed previously says if you don't do this, your character sticks on everything. And, well, so far I believe that to be true. So we're going to go back to ground here. And for the physics material, we're going to use our no stick physics. Bam. So now when we hit play, it shouldn't fall through the map. It should stay in place. And there we have our round. That's a good starting point. Now we need to make a player. I'll go ahead and stop this. Go ahead and create a new object. Create 2D object, and we're going to create another sprite, and we're just going to make it a square. No, capsule. We'll make our player a capsule, starting off. And I'm going to start him over. Yeah, we'll start him in the center. Because I don't want the camera moving around and stuff on this. A little smaller than that, I think. And what should we... He's gonna be a green capsule. Why not? Yeah. Little green dude. There we go. Add component. He's also a rigid body because he's supposed to be solid. That's how I think of rigid bodies. Anything that's solid and not pass through and is affected by gravity and such. Yeah, so rigid body, and we're going to add a capsule collider. What? Conflicts with existing rigid body 2D. Why? Oh, fuck. That's why. I tried to make it a 3D capsule collider. It needs to be 2D. 2D capsule collider. Bam. Perfect. And it's already adjusted for me. I don't have to adjust nothing on that. Cool. So now let's see what this looks like. Looks good. We have a ground, a background, and a player. Moving right along in the capsule, I'm going to rename to player. There. Now for the bit I don't remember and I'm going to have to Google is how to make it move. Actually wonder if I could just pull those scripts up and just steal them from my other code. Let's try that and see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna go find some find the code to use before to make my other guy moved and implement them. I figured it out. All I had to do is open the previous project and then slide the player movement script I wrote then over into this new project, and bam! Now I gotta try to figure out how to get it to work with this new blob. Which, yes, that's what I wrote before. Cool. Let's see if I just attach it to the capsule here, which I distinctly remember renaming a player, but let's not get concerned about that right now. Yeah, well, we actually need to rename it to player, I think. Oh no, the other one was renamed player. Okay, so let's see. He has the script, his speed up here. So we'll make his, well, that's for jump. We'll keep that 0 for now because I don't need him to jump at the moment. I might later. I might need him to jump later. So, you know, it's as good as it has a jump feature already there. But let's make his player movement speed 10. Bam, that's there. That's good. Let's move you down so you touch the ground. And let's hit play and see what happens. Oh, there's already a compiler issue. Oh, he moves. He moves and he doesn't fall down the ground. I did remember how to do things. He does kind of just is able to just slide completely off the screen. That's fine. I know how to fix that. So we have him moving. Animator. There's no animator attached to the player game object, but a script is trying to access it. I understand that's from the other code. I'm not worried about that right now. He moves. He moves. I'll fix that later. But we're gonna go over to ground here, and I guess I'm gonna attach this here to the ground because why not? And we're going to go ahead and add in an edge collider right here, yep. And we're going to adjust it, because for some reason it is in a weird spot. So yeah, we're going to move you up to the top here. Move you down. And I don't want my character being able to run off the camera. Or freaking try to platform his way up as things fall and make it off the side of the screen. So we're going to make this ridiculously long for no reason other than I can. And can't no one stop me. There you go. I think that's good enough. And move it over just a touch more. Bam. Yep, we're good. Now we're going to duplicate this. Move component. Copy component. I don't know how to paste component, so we're just gonna make another one. Why not? It's the easiest way. And then remember the physics 2D material here. I remember that. We'll add that in there, and we'll add it onto this one here, and then we'll click on this one, and we'll move it. Solving problems. It's my favorite. Bam! Now, when we play, we should be able to run our character to the edge, and he should stop. Yes. And he falls over. That's fine. The scene view really sucks with that because... No, it doesn't. I just suck at placing things. Move you over like that. Yeah. Should be good. There we go. And to get our character to stop moving, and the mistake I made last time was over here in rigid body, we hit constraints. We need to freeze the Z position. If you don't freeze the Z position, he will move however the hell he wants to, basically. At least he'll spin in circles and stuff like that and get knocked over. Shouldn't get knocked over now, though. And yes, the edge of the map is the edge of the map. And our capsule is moving across the screen like a capsule should. Well, that's a victory. I did that way quicker than I previously thought possible. Now for the hard part is making enemies and have them fall from the sky onto our player. So that's something I don't currently know how to do, is create enemies and have them spawn in randomly in random above area part of the map here and fall down on our character. That I'm gonna have to look up a couple more tutorials on how to do that stuff. So I think this is a good place to end the video, but I'm kind of happy with myself. I didn't have to look up anything to figure out how to do any of that right there. I was able to do it from a memory, and that is a huge win for me. My memory is terrible. I can hardly ever remember how to do this stuff. I think we're off to a good start. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one and take care. Goodbye.